Imagine a man so powerful that entire industries bowed to his will and the U.S. economy depended on his decisions. J.P. Morgan wasn't just a banker. He was the architect of modern American capitalism, a figure both revered and reviled. His story is one of ambition, innovation, and controversy, a legacy that continues to shape the financial world today. The powerhouse of American capitalism. John Pierpont Morgan was a towering figure in American financial history, known for reshaping the nation's economy with his strategic investments and bold decisions. He founded the first billion-dollar corporation, U.S. Steel, and was a central figure in industries ranging from railroads to electricity. His ability to stabilize the U.S. economy during times of crisis, coupled with his dominance in consolidating industries, cemented his legacy as one of history's most influential financiers. Morgan's financial empire extended far beyond wealth accumulation. His actions impacted the structure of modern capitalism, laying the groundwork for the interconnected global economy we know today. Admired for his business acumen yet criticized for monopolistic practices, Morgan was a paradoxical figure who wielded power with unmatched influence. A privileged but fraught childhood. Born in Hartford, Connecticut in 1837, J.P. Morgan entered the world under favorable circumstances. His father, Junius Spencer Morgan, was an accomplished banker who envisioned his son continuing the family legacy. J.P. was given the best education money could buy, attending prestigious schools in Boston, Switzerland, and Germany. However, Morgan's childhood was overshadowed by chronic illnesses. He suffered from migraines, seizures, scarlet fever, and rheumatic fever. These ailments often confined him to his home, preventing him from enjoying the outdoor activities typical of children his age. Instead, Morgan immersed himself in studying and reading, developing a sharp mind that would later define his career. In a bid to improve his health, his father sent him to the Azores, believing the salty ocean air would aid his recovery. Morgan spent nearly a year on the isolated island before returning to his studies. This period of solitude likely contributed to his resilience and focus, qualities that would define his future success. Early career, learning the ropes of finance. By the age of 19, J.P. Morgan began his career on Wall Street, working for a firm that represented his father's banking interests in the United States. His role required him to monitor America's financial markets and report back to his father's firm, George Peabody and Company, based in London. These experiences gave Morgan first-hand insight into the emerging American economy. Despite his early promise, Morgan's boldness occasionally clashed with his father's cautious approach. In one instance, Morgan used company funds to purchase an unclaimed shipment of Brazilian coffee while in New Orleans. Although the transaction yielded a profit, his father and colleagues criticized his apparent recklessness. This episode highlighted the tension between Morgan's risk-taking instincts and the discipline required in high finance. Personal tragedy and a renewed focus. In 1861, Morgan married Amelia Sturgis, a woman he deeply loved. Tragically, Amelia was diagnosed with tuberculosis shortly after their wedding. In an attempt to restore her health, Morgan took her on an extended honeymoon to the Mediterranean, hoping the climate would have a healing effect. Despite his efforts, Amelia passed away just 4 months later, leaving Morgan devastated. Overwhelmed by grief, Morgan channeled his sorrow into his work. During the Civil War, he avoided military service by paying $300 for a substitute, a legal option under the 1863 Conscription Act. Though he did not fight, Morgan found ways to profit from the war. He financed the purchase of surplus rifles at bargain prices, which were later sold back to the government at a significant markup. While this deal earned him substantial profits, it also drew public ire for exploiting the war. The railroad tycoon. The railroad industry in the late 19th century was chaotic, marked by fierce competition among hundreds of small companies. While others viewed this fragmentation as a challenge, Morgan saw opportunity. He believed in consolidation, merging smaller companies into larger, more efficient entities to eliminate competition and increase profitability. Morgan's strategy, later dubbed Morganization, involved acquiring financially unstable railroads, improving their operations, and merging them into larger networks. This approach stabilized the industry, attracted investments, and allowed Morgan to dictate prices. By the 1880s, Morgan controlled over 1/3 of the U.S. railroad system, a feat that revolutionized transportation and commerce. His influence extended beyond the boardroom. Morgan often played an active role in the management of these companies, reshaping their leadership to align with his vision. His involvement ensured that the consolidated railroads operated efficiently, setting a precedent for modern corporate governance. The creation of U.S. Steel. In 1901, Morgan orchestrated the creation of U.S. Steel, a milestone in industrial history. Andrew Carnegie, the leading figure in steel manufacturing, was ready to retire and offered to sell his company. When Carnegie named his price $480 million, Morgan agreed without hesitation. Morgan's purchase marked the beginning of U.S. Steel, which combined Carnegie Steel with several other companies. With a market capitalization of $1.4 billion, U.S. Steel became the world's first billion-dollar corporation, controlling two-thirds of American steel production. This achievement underscored Morgan's ability to transform industries through strategic consolidation. Beyond steel, Morgan's influence reached other sectors. He financed Thomas Edison's experiments with electricity and helped create General Electric, a leader in electrical innovation. He also played a key role in the development of the telephone industry, supporting what would later become AT&T. Crisis management, a financial savior. Morgan's ability to navigate financial crises cemented his reputation as a stabilizing force in the economy. In 1893, the U.S. faced a severe depression that depleted gold reserves and threatened the nation's financial stability. Morgan stepped in, leading a private syndicate that secured $65 million in gold to restore confidence in the dollar. His actions averted a national financial collapse. In 1907, another crisis struck, causing widespread panic and bank failures. Morgan convened the nation's top financiers in his library, devising a plan to inject liquidity into struggling banks. His decisive leadership and coordination with the U.S. Treasury prevented a total economic meltdown, reaffirming his pivotal role in maintaining stability. Scrutiny and opposition. As Morgan's power grew, so did public scrutiny. His monopolistic practices attracted criticism, and his influence over the economy became a contentious issue. President Theodore Roosevelt, a proponent of antitrust reform, challenged Morgan's Northern Securities Corporation, a massive railroad holding company. The Supreme Court ultimately dissolved the company, signaling a shift toward greater government regulation. The Pujo Committee hearings further examined Morgan's role in the money trust, exposing the concentration of wealth and power on Wall Street. These investigations highlighted the need for systemic reforms, paving the way for the creation of the Federal Reserve in 1913. Legacy of J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan's impact on American industry and finance was transformative, revolutionizing business operations through consolidation. By merging smaller firms into unified giants, he brought stability and efficiency to industries like steel and electricity, creating corporate titans such as U.S. Steel and General Electric. These ventures became blueprints for modern multinational corporations. However, its legacy is controversial. Critics argue that Morgan's monopolistic practices stifled competition, concentrated wealth, and curtailed consumer choice. His method of organization often prioritized profit and control over market diversity. Despite this, Morgan played a pivotal role in stabilizing the U.S. economy during crises like the panics of 1893 and 1907. His decisive interventions restored confidence and highlighted the need for centralized banking, eventually leading to the creation of the Federal Reserve. Morgan's life embodies the duality of unchecked capitalism. He was both a financial savior and a symbol of elite dominance, leaving a lasting imprint on America's economic foundations. The enduring influence. Even after his death in 1913, J.P. Morgan's legacy endures through Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the world with assets exceeding $3 trillion. This institution reflects his vision of consolidation, stability, and financial dominance. Morgan's transformative influence reshaped industries like steel, railroads, and electricity, streamlining chaotic markets into efficient, powerful conglomerates. His interventions during financial crises, such as the panics of 1893 and 1907, cemented his role as a stabilizing force in the U.S. economy. While celebrated for fostering growth and stability, critics argued his monopolistic practices concentrated wealth and stifled competition. J.P. Morgan's life symbolizes the dual nature of capitalism, a driver of innovation and growth, but also a figure of immense power and influence. His legacy continues to shape modern finance and corporate structures, making him a defining figure in American economic history. J.P. Morgan's legacy is a tale of power, ambition, and lasting influence, one that reshaped the economic foundations of a nation. If you found his story intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more fascinating dives into history's greatest minds.